Our videos on the versus series, where we compare two different programs or options that students have to pursue in the field of finance and accounts, is actually one of the most popular playlists. And I think in this video, we're going to cover CFA versus Actuarial Science. First of all, if this is the first time you're visiting the channel, then please do click subscribe. If you've been visiting us and if you find any value from this video, then give us a thumbs up. Alright, so I've made a separate video on CFA and Actuarial Science, but I think I'll give you all a sense of maybe if you're confused between the two and you need to figure out which one is the right option for you, I think this video should help. So CFA, as we all know, is about finance and investment management. Actuarial Science is all about risk, and the major focus subject is generally statistics. Secondly, when it comes to the eligibility criteria, CFA's eligibility criteria is now reduced, which is that you can give it from the second last year of graduation. So if you're a BCom student, technically you can start from your second year. Actuarial Science you can give immediately after 12th. So there is only a 1 or 2 year max difference between when you're eligible for Actuarial Science for CFA. So when it comes to the purpose of doing the courses and the eligibility, this is basic and you should be very familiar. Now let me tell you all a little bit about the rest of the factors that will matter to somebody. So CFA, first of all, is a very popular program. You get done within 2 to 3 years, and it's a great stepping stone to enter the field of finance. Finance as a field is very difficult to enter into if you don't have any qualification, and things like CA take a really long time at times. And generally CA is again a combo of finance and accounts. If you want to specialize in finance, I think across the world, there is no better course, including any MBA in finance, which is as good as CFA. So yeah, as long as you're clear, right, that you want to get into the field of finance, you end up with options like portfolio management, like private wealth management. You can get into derivatives, you can get into the stock markets, you can get into other capital markets, you can get into corporate finance. All of this is what will help you get into CFA. So I've seen more students take up CFA because it's very well known. Let's come to Actuarial Science. Like I said, it's all about risk. The primary industry you work in is generally insurance. Because in life insurance, for example, you calculate the risk of whoever's paid you the insurance premium, out of which what is the risk factor? How many people might actually die? And you as an insurance company will have to pay all of them, right? So that's the calculation that the insurance companies do, which is what actuaries cover. The course is really difficult. It's considered one of the number one course in difficulty in the world. I remember a few years ago I had read it that US's number one job is actuaries. In fact, even in India, the number of people who complete the entire actuarial science course is still in triple digits. I think last I had checked. So a few hundred people in India, there are lakhs and lakhs of people who are doing CA and ACC and CFA, and tens of thousands of people who are appearing for actuarial science, but only a few hundred in the history have actually completed this course from India. So it's a very difficult but a very high paying job, right? You burn out very quickly. It's a very intense job, but it's a great career. It's one of the most secure certification you can have, and the need for actuaries is increasing in the world. So actuaries have those options. Right? Finally, when it comes to the fee structure for both are more or less the same. I would say between 3 to 5 lakhs, you'll cover both the programs. So that's not really too much of a difference. Now, last point is this, how do you choose what's good for you? My suggestion is actuarial science is generally a very difficult course. For whatever reason, unless you're super sure or you have some superb liking for the content and the syllabus of actuarial science, I would say go for CFA first. And the only reason is because in actuarial science, there are, I think, 15 papers. People, what they do is they generally finish the first 5 to 10 papers, and then they don't end up completing the rest because A, it's super, super difficult. B, you anyway start your career after you finish the first few papers. So people say, okay, fine, I'll start studying with my job. But the amount of people who do that, obviously it reduces dramatically. Whereas CFA, right, there is so much more, there's so many more people who are doing all the 3 levels that you more or less go along with the crowd. It's not too long. It's not as difficult for sure. And it's limited. It's 3 levels, you can get done. And my suggestion to students is, unless you have a real drive or desire to do actuarial science, you might not complete it. Do CFA or do something else for that matter. And then once you do that, you do actuarial science, at least you have a base, a backup. in case this doesn't pan out. But, and CFA, if you finish, you always have the option of doing actuarial science. If you pick up actuarial science, you can start it, maybe do a few papers, and then shift to CFA. That option is also there, but most people have not seen do that. Actually, I have seen a handful of students only. It's not a very common option. So that's my suggestion. Please take into account what the courses are about, the eligibility criteria, the duration it takes, the difficulty, maybe the fees if it matters, and that's about it. After you complete CFA or actuarial science, your scope in India and overseas is immensely high. So I hope you found value in this video, and if there's anything else you'd like us to make, please let us know in the comments.